We're calling all guys and the women who want to understand us a little more. Joining us to continue a conversation from the first half of this hour is counselor, teacher, and best-selling author John Eldredge, author of Wild at Heart and many other titles. And he's here with his son Sam, and together they've co-written a unique book called Killing Lions, a guide through the trials young men face. And to round out our guy panel, we're also joined by Kirk, Giles, the president of Promise Keepers Canada, a great men's ministry. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. Great to be together.
Yeah, well, this is kind of cool to have a guy panel, free for all, and we're just going to kind of have some fun, cover some issues that are brought up in the book, but also, I even said earlier, you can run down some rabbit trails. It's kind of understanding us guys a little more, because you hear the jokes about the Understanding Women books are this thick, and then the guys are usually, there's not too much you have to need to know, but that's not fair. No, hey, we can get complicated too.
To us.
Right?
That's right.
All right. So Sam, I wanted to start with you because this book project really came out of a journey of you going through college and then early career time. And give us first, those of you who may have missed the earlier part of today's hour, maybe just the summary of how this came to be.
Yeah, well, the book really started through conversations I was having with my dad. When I graduated from college, I jumped into adult life expecting to have my career all mapped out and relationships to work, and I was met with bills and difficult relationships with women and the fact that my degree actually wouldn't transfer into a job immediately. And I just, after a couple of months, felt like I was floundering, felt like I was treading water and didn't really know when the test would end and I could get out of the pool. And so I called my dad, him being the wisest person that I know, and knowing also that he would allow me to make my own decisions. And we started having these weekly phone calls where we talked about work and money and women and all of these core issues.
And I love the way the book is laid out. It's just kind of a back and forth conversation, two different types of fonts in the book so you can tell who's talking. And so John, what was that like for you to just kind of walk your son Sam through these struggles?
What a rich experience. What every father would dream of. You want to be the guy they call, but actually early on in his college years, Sam wasn't calling. There was the independent stage and, kind of get out from under mom and dad, and all that's good, all that's appropriate. But we had some fabulous, fabulous conversations. And what's beautiful is we keep having them, right? I mean, even coming up here to see you all, when we're talking on the plane about love, marriage, next steps, career decisions, this is how men were meant to live together.
That's so important because the reality is that it doesn't end.
Right.
Being a dad to your son is not something you do when they're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old to help them through these things. But we're constantly on this journey of different stages of our life as men. And to have that father influence, you're going to need that wisdom from your dad 30 years from now just as much as you need it from today, but it's just going to be a different stage in your journey as a man. And so that's powerful to have that kind of an input.
Isn't it?
And the whole idea of becoming a man then is that thing is, it's hard to really grasp, when are you a man? When do you become a man? Talk about the title of the book, Killing Lions, and how that relates to it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so it comes from two places. It comes from the Maasai tradition in Africa, where you couldn't marry and you couldn't own land as a young man until you had killed a lion with a spear, by the way. It was a rite of passage. It was their way of saying he is now a member of the tribe, right? We can trust him now, okay? David and Goliath, similar story, right? When David faces down Goliath, he says, I've already faced the lion and the bear. I can handle this. A man needs a settled assurance inside, right? That he has what it takes, right? I have what it takes. It's kind of the core thing. And that's going in for a job interview or finishing your PhD or asking the girl to marry you, right? It's that settled thing of, I can handle this.
Yeah. There's not really a set rite of passage in today's society. Like how does guy know? Is there some?
I mean, the rite of passages in our society is at this age I can drive a car, at this age I can get drunk.
Right.
And this is our reality in our culture today. And I think there is so much power that happens. Yes, when a man experiences some of the things you were describing, but when an older man, in particular a dad, can look at his son and say, "You're a man."
Yep.
That speaks volumes into the heart of a man. And you can have a whole bunch of moments in time that are like a rite of passage along the way, but just that moment of hearing the voice of a dad saying to his son, "You're a man," holds extreme weight.
Kirk, that just kind of brings to mind an issue that I know you at Promise Keepers have really been working with and trying to bring answers to, is the whole fatherless generation that's out there.
Yeah.
So there's a generation that were so many young boys, trying to grow into young men. They just don't have that dad. Like, how does that gap get covered?
Me personally, I believe the best way the gap gets covered are by men who understand that they are already loved by God the Father. When Christian men who understand who they are because of Jesus, that they are adopted as sons of God, they have nothing to prove to God. God just loves them with his amazing grace. And those men stand in the gap in the place where other men have left destruction and damage. Men who are walking in grace and strength as sons of God need to step into that gap and represent the heart of God the Father to these young men who are in these real father-absent situations.
John, your thoughts on that fatherless?
I'm the hope of that story, because my dad never offered any of this to me. My dad was an alcoholic. I grew up in a pretty broken family, pretty dysfunctional situation with a lot of wounding. And yet I'm the guy that wrote Wild at Heart. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, because in the core of Christianity is fatherhood, right? You have a father. Right? It's man or woman, son or daughter, you have a father who loves you. And if we will open ourselves up to fathering, like literally ask God to father you. Is it in school? Is it with your teenage daughter? Like, Father, I need your help. I need some fathering here. Is it making a career shift, right? Or moving to a new city, a new country, taking on a ministry?
Yeah.
Father, I need your fathering. I need you to father me. And if Christianity doesn't offer that, what is it?
That's right.
Good point. And there may be some watching right now, and they're in the situation of just saying, I could really use some fatherly advice. I need some help. Maybe God will bring a person into your life to help you in that situation, or maybe just cry out to him and just look to him and say, Father, I need your help. Spend time in his word. If we can help you on our prayer lines, you'll see those from time to time on the program. Give us a call. You see a lot of young people, young men, and they're really into the video games, like the Halos, the Call of Duty, and it just consumes their time. Is that, Sam, does that kind of play into this need to conquer as a young guy?
It's totally locked in with our identity. We need to feel like we have what it takes. We need to feel like a warrior. We need to feel like there are stakes that matter, people to rescue. Those games, they're powerful. And if you told me that they were real, that I was actually the character in Halo, that everything depended upon me, I told my dad, I don't know what could make me happier, actually. That would be so clear, that parameters would be so clear, that my role would be so clear. And that's really what those are all speaking to, those games.
And this is huge because we have missed the warrior in young men. We told them that the goal of Christianity is that you become a very nice guy.
Meek and mild.
Right? Yeah, gentle Jesus, meek and mild. And you would go, wait, Jesus who made a weapon and used it to clear the temple, that Jesus?
Yeah.
Right? Jesus who calmed the storm at a command, Jesus who was able to kick demons out of people, like Jesus who comes back, by the way, at the end of this chapter, in the saddle, leading an army. Like Jesus is a warrior, and that is in the DNA of every little boy.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, if we could show young men, you are needed. We are in a great battle, right? For the world. There is a great battle against evil. I mean, look at it in the world. Terrorism, human trafficking, child abuse, all of that. Like, we are at war. You are needed. You have a place in God's great story. How many young men would we capture?
Yeah, that's so important, John. You have to bring these young men out of the make-believe world of the video game into the reality of what is really going on in the spiritual battle all around us, and to help them to see that with the Spirit of God and the belief of other men around them, they can be part of this, that they have what it takes to be a part of this. So many young men, there's study after study of young guys who are addicted to these video games, and their brains have been rewired to a place where they can play the game, but there's no consequences. So then in real life, what's happening is they'll act out certain things in real life, but they don't feel that there's ever any consequences or the need to take responsibility in things in life. So, you know, my marriage falls apart, so I just hit the reset button and I'll start all over again, just like I did with the video games. And if we can help these young men to connect the heart desire they have that's behind the video game to the real life responsibilities that God's calling them to, something powerful can really happen in their lives.
And John, one of the chapters is called Fighting for Your Life in Killing Lions. You're talking in the conversation back between you and Sam back and forth, and the realities of the spiritual battles that are going on in the unseen realm. But one of those, and just picking up on this whole, you know, men have a tendency to get addicted to different things, but one of those battles that's part of the battle for the mind is pornography, and we know how prevalent that is. And John, what kind of impact or, you know, negative ramifications does spending time with a man with that material do? What happens in a guy's heart?
You have to understand what he's looking for, because the big surprise is it's not about sex. It's about love and it's about validation.
That's right.
Okay? He has an ache in his soul, and he's taking it there, hoping that that's going to ease the ache. For one thing, it makes him feel like a man, right? And so the less you have the Father's love, the less you have a sense of inner strength as a man, the more vulnerable you are to something that eases the ache. So what we want to say is, wait, the ache is good. Of course you long for love. Of course you long for validation. I mean, my goodness, that Jesus needed that from his Father. When he's baptized, the Father says, I love you. You have what it takes. That's what he says to Jesus. This is my beloved Son. I'm so proud of you. In him I'm well pleased, right? That story. Okay, so we got to understand this isn't just about our sexuality. Guys, there's an ache in the soul for love and for validation. And that's good. God gave you that ache. And the deal is, if pornography worked, why don't you feel better?
Right.
It doesn't work, right? So we need to get the love and the validation from the true source, which is the love of God.
So Kirk, someone that finds himself caught in that addiction, what might they do to start taking those steps in the right direction?
You know what, the first thing that a man has to do is get honest with somebody. He needs to be honest, whether it's with a friend of his or a pastor or a counselor, but he needs to be honest with somebody that this is a reality in his life. And from there are just so many different resources that exist that a trusted friend or pastor or counselor can help a man with. But yeah, getting honest and getting real about it.
Let me add quick, probably not first your wife.
No, that's right.
Okay, because that can, if she doesn't know this is going on, this could blow the whole thing apart, right? Guys, go first to a friend, pastor, counselor, somebody, and then, eventually you need to bring your wife into the story, but probably only first with the help of a man, right? So don't blow the ship up with the confession first at home, I would suggest.
Well, guys, I think we've only covered about 3 or 4 of the topics that I thought we might go down, but there's so many ways that we could go, because you cover in the book Killing Lions. I just love the conversation between you and Sam and how you look at all different aspects of life. And this is on our e-store, by the way. You can go to crossroads.ca and look for the e-store. But guys, this was too quick, but maybe we do it again sometime. But thanks so much for coming, John and Sam and Kirk. appreciate what you're doing, your ongoing work and ministry. And as I said earlier, our prayer lines are available. You can give us a call. Maybe there's an issue you're struggling with and you'd like to talk to someone and pray. And that's what people on this end of the phone love to do, just pray for you, your situation. And 1-866-273-4444 is the 24/7 toll-free number, all right? Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. Great
All
to be
right.
with you.